Today, on the 74th Independence Day of India, I am going to tell you about a man who was a poet and a freedom fighter. He is known to many Maharashtrians and some Goans. He is Veer Vinayak Savarkar. If you remember, last year we had made a video on Rani Lakshmi Bai, who was part of the 1857 Sepoy Mutiny. Savarkar was the man who authored a book about this mutiny and called it a war of independence. He was born on 28 May 1883, which explains his place of birth, which is near the city of Nashik. However, he didn't think Hinduism as a religion. He thought that Hinduism was a geographical and cultural identity and that Hinduism was a way of life. And religion was a Western concept. He dined with all of his friends who were considered lower caste at those times. He even opened a temple in Maharashtra where people from every caste were welcome. And this man was the most wanted criminal by the British. He had taken the most dangerous weapon. His weapon wasn't a gun. His weapon was a pen. He wrote a lot of things, poems, books. But we only talk about one thing, how Savarkar wrote his mercy petition. Vinayak was a sharp student. He got a scholarship to go to London and get a law degree. And here's when his connection with India House begins. It was the center of political activism against the British in their own home, London. Madam Kama, Lala Hardayal, and many other revolutionaries stayed here, including Savarkar. They took inspiration from Italian and Irish revolutionaries. They studied them and learned them. The British were always scared of the 1857 War of Independence. Because if the armed forces revolted again, they wouldn't be able to win. Savarkar realized that the British were hiding facts from the public. He authored the book The 1857 War of Independence. This book became the guidebook of many revolutionaries which came after Savarkar, like Bhagat Singh, Chandrasekhar Azad, and even Subhash Chandra Bose. He even supplied guns to Indian revolutionaries. And when Madan Lal Dhingra shot cousin Wiley, Savarkar was arrested. Savarkar was the person that received the most brutal punishment of all time from the British rule. 2 life sentences of 25 years back to back in Andaman Cellular Jail. If you have visited San Francisco or know about the place, you must have known Alcatraz. Andaman Cellular Jail topped that. Just say it was a living hell. His term started with 6 months of solitary confinement. You are given the small prison where you can't talk to anyone or see anyone. You can only see prisoners being hung to death. During the day, the prisoners would have to extract mustard and coconut oil using a machine like this. There was a daily quota, and if the quota wouldn't be matched, the prisoners used to be whipped or punished in very brutal ways. For insignificant things, they would have to give bribes, even to use the toilet. Even in these unsufferable conditions, Vinayak knew that it was his responsibility to get out. He knew that he is useless to the nation if he was stuck in jail. And that's why he wrote petitions so that he could get out. And not for himself only, he wrote petitions for other prisoners also. He was called Bada Babu in jail. They called him as their leader. He was a barrister. He knew his rights. He never asked for mercy. He demanded it. Even prisoners have rights. He did whatever he could to get out, not for his own good, but for the good of the country. Even after knowing these facts, if we call him a coward, then that punishment would be worse than Kala Pani. Even Shivaji Maharaj surrendered before Mirza Raja Jai Singh and came back from Agra and rebuilt the Maratha kingdom. And in the same way, Savarkar did that. So if we call Shivaji Maharaj great, and rightfully so, then there should be a new word to match the greatness of Savarkar.